Hey Siri.
Okay.
Hey Siri.
Act 4, Scene 3. We are with Malcolm and Macduff. So where has the play moved to, location-wise? England. In the king's castle. Okay, this is the first encounter between Malcolm and Macduff since Macduff arrived. Go ahead.
Let us seek out some desolate shade, and there weep our sad bosoms empty.
Let us rather hold fast the mortal sword, and, like good men, bestride our downfallen birthdom. Let new widows howl, new orphans cry, new sorrows strike heaven on the face, that it resonates as if it felt with Scotland and yelled out like Sybil of dollar.
Yeah, sadness.
What I believe, I'll wail. What no believe, and what I can redress, as I shall find the time to friend, I will. What you have spoke, it may be so, perchance. This tyrant, whose sole name blisters our tongues, was once thought honest. You have loved him well, he hath not touched you yet. I am young, but something you may deserve of him through me, and wisdom, to offer up a weak, poor, innocent lamb, to appease an angry God.
I am not treacherous.
Okay, what is Malcolm worried about?
Getting killed.
Being betrayed by
Macbeth through Macduff. So Malcolm is suspicious that Macduff is here because Macbeth sent him.
I don't think I'm going to agree with Macduff after I hear what he's done.
Okay. So they don't know about what's happened to Macduff's family yet, by the way. Okay, Malcolm.
But Macbeth is, a good and virtuous nature may recoil an imperial charge, but I shall crave your pardon. That which you are, my thoughts cannot transpose. Angels are bright still, though the brightest fell, though all things foul would wear the brows of your grace. Yet grace must still look so.
Okay, so Malcolm says, I want to change what's happening in Scotland too, but I shall crave your pardon. That which you are, my thoughts cannot transpose. Angels, Satan, Lucifer, the angel, was thought to be the best angel there was until the moment he betrayed God. So Malcolm cannot trust Macduff just because he said he's trustworthy. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, Macduff's response is,
I have lost my hopes.
Perchance even there were, I did find my doubts. Why in that rawness left you wife and child, those precious motives, those strong knots of love, without leave taking, I pray you. Let not my jealousies be your dishonors, but mine own safeties. You may be rightly just, whatever I shall think.
so what's one doubt Malcolm has about him?
Like he left his wife.
Yeah, why would you, if it's so bad in Scotland,
Why would you leave your wife and kids?
why would you leave your wife and children to come here to talk to me? Okay, Macduff says,
Bleed, bleed, poor country. Great tyranny, lay thou thy bases sure. For goodness dare not check thee, where thou thy wrongs. The title is Afeard.
so basically, I'm not going to make any progress here, so I'm just going to leave. Go ahead.
Fare thee well, Lord. I would not be the villain that thou thinkest, for the whole space that's in the tyrant's grasp, and the rich east to boot.
So he's leaving and going back to Scotland?
Yep, so he says, if you don't trust me, there's nothing I can do here. I just will leave.
Be not offended. I speak not as in absolute fear of you. I think our country sinks beneath the yoke. It weeps, it bleeds, and each new day a gash is added to her wounds.
Okay, what's a yoke? Y-O-K-E, yoke.
Like an egg.
No, that's Y-O-L-K.
Above yoke.
No. When I used to play the Oregon Trail as a little child on my DOS computer.
Isn't that the thing where a lot of people would die to like dysentery or something?
This is a plus size woman's fashion. Is a yoke.
No. Your wagon got pulled across the Oregon Trail by oxen, and one of the things you had to look out for on the Oregon Trail was a broken yoke.
So it's like a
Wheel.
Close. It's this huge piece of wood with the neck shape carved out that you put on top of the oxen to hook the harnesses to.
Oh yeah, I've seen one. They're like, yeah.
Yeah, and they're very, very big and heavy. You use them to control people. Any of you who've ever done any woodworking work, if you have to move like 2x10s, they are really heavy, like shockingly heavy. So they're these big pieces, and they're usually 2 or 3 deep, screwed together, bolted together. And you use them to put on top of the oxen because that weight helps you keep them in check, because they are these huge, massive creatures that don't particularly enjoy being controlled. So Malcolm says, our country sinks beneath the yoke. So the yoke, this is a metaphor. Who's the yoke? Macbeth, and his power is this heavy weight controlling the country, and it's sinking beneath him. Okay, so Malcolm says, wait, I'm not just afraid of you. I agree our country needs saving. Okay, go ahead, the last line there.
I think with all their, is that where I was?
Yep, I think with all
uplifted in my right, and here from the gracious England I have offer of goodly thousands.
Okay, so he says, I think there would be people who want me to be king, and I have this offer of goodly thousands. What does that mean?
Like money?
Thousands of men.
Men. So England is willing to send men to help this war. Go ahead.
But for all this, when I shall tread upon the tyrant's head, or wear on my sword, yet my poor country shall have more vices than it had before, more suffer, and more sundry ways than ever, by him that all shall succeed.
Okay, so he says, but if I become king, our country will suffer more, because I have all these vices. What's a vice?
Like
Holding
something
you.
wrong.
Something that's like wrong with you, like a character trait or a habit that you have that is negative. It's the opposite of a virtue. So a virtue is something that you have that is good and wholesome and makes you a better person. A vice is something that makes you a bad person. So Malcolm says, if I become king, the country will be burdened by more vices, more suffering. Meaning Malcolm is saying that
He has a lot of vices.
he will not be a good king either. Okay, Macduff.
What should he be?
It is myself I mean, in whom I know all the particulars of vice so grafted that, when they shall be opened, black Macbeth will seem as pure as snow. In that poor state esteem him as a lamb, being compared with my confineless harms.
So how bad is he?
So bad.
Worse than Macbeth. Like, he'll make Macbeth look good.
Malcolm is so bad of a person, has so many vices, that he will make Macbeth look good. Okay.
Not in the legions of horrid hell can come a devil more damned in evils to top Macbeth.
I grant him blood.
And here's a list of things that Macbeth is bad. Okay, this is a whole list.
That I'm reading.
Yep.
I grant him bloody, luxurious,
Avaricious. That means greedy.
False, deceitful, sudden, malicious, smacking of every sin that has a name.
But here's Malcolm's first vice.
But there's no bottom, none, in my
Voluptuousness.
Your wives, your daughters, your matrons, and your maids could not fill up the cistern of my lust and my desire. All the
Continent.
impediments would not overbear that did oppose my will. Better Macbeth than such and one to reign.
So what's his first vice?
Lustful.
He's lustful.
He's lustful. As in, all the women in the country could not fill up his need for women. And not only that, but he wants to oppose his will on them. Okay, so this is his first vice. I'm 90% sure this is a question. Go ahead.
Boundless intemperance in nature is a tyranny. It hath been the
Untimely.
untimely emptying of the happy throne and fall of many kings.
So Duff says, oh, a lot of kings before you've had this problem too. No big deal.
But fear not yet to take upon you what is yours. You may convey your pleasures in a spacious plenty, and yet seem cold. The time you may so hoodwink, we have willing dames enough. There cannot be that vulture in you to devour so many as will to greatness dedicate themselves, finding it so inclined.
So, you're a good-looking young guy. We got plenty of ladies that would be happy to fill up your desires. They'll be willing, so you won't have to impose your will. We got plenty. There's plenty of ladies. We can keep you satisfied.
Oh, who's gonna rape them?
Yeah, probably. Or maybe some, like,
Sex them.
aggressive things. I don't know the
Torture them.
certain details of it. But yeah, okay, not pleasant. Go ahead, Malcolm.
With this there grows in my most ill-composed affection, such as
Staunchless?
staunchless
Avarice. So that
Avarice.
means an unrelenting greed.
that I were king, I should cut off the nobles for their lands, desire his jewels in this other house, and my more having would be a sauce to make me hunger more, that I should forge quarrels unjust against the good and loyal, destroying them for wealth.
Okay, so his second vice is
He'd like take all the land. He's greedy.
greedy. He's so greedy he would strip the nobles of their titles so he could have all their riches for himself. And that wouldn't be enough, even that. Okay, Duff?
This avarice sticks deeper, grows with more
Pernicious.
pernicious root than summer seeming lust, and it hath been the sword of our slain kings. Yet do not fear, Scotland hath
Poisons. Yep.
to fill up your will of your mere own. All these are portable with other graces weighted.
So he says, we have so much money in our vault. We will satisfy your greed. There's nothing to fear. Okay? And so here comes number 3, the big finale.
But I have none. The king becoming graces.
So this is a list of things that kings should be. He lists them here.
As justice, verity, temperance, stableness, bounty, perseverance, mercy, lowliness, devotion, patience, courage, fortitude. I have no relish of them, but abound in the division of each several crime, acting in many ways. Nay, had I power, I should pour the sweet milk of concord into hell, uproar the universal peace, confound all unity on earth.
Okay, so vice number 3. He would take all these kingly graces that you should have, and he would try to destroy them. And his final destruction would be what?
Peace. He would start war.
He would destroy peace on earth. He would go to war with everybody, everywhere. Okay, and Macduff, he's had a response to everything up until this point, but now he says,
"O Scotland, Scotland,
if such a one fit to govern, speak am I as I have spoken."
fit to govern? No, not to live, O nation miserable, with an untitled tyrant, bloody sceptred. When shalt thou see thy wholesome days again? Since that the truest issue of thy throne, by his own interdiction, stands accursed, and does blaspheme his breed.
so he says, oh, my nation, who will govern you when the rightful heir is unfit to govern? Not even govern, unfit to live. That's what Macduff says. Fit to govern? No, you're not fit to live. You're such a horrible person. Okay, go ahead.
Thy royal father was a most sainted king. The queen that bore thee, oftener upon her knees than on her feet, died every day she lived.
Because she was praying so much.
Fare thee well. These evils thou repeatest upon thyself hath banished me from Scotland. O my breast, thy hope ends here.
So Macduff finally says,
There's you can't be king.
you can't be king. I can't live in a place where you are going to be king.
It's hopeless.
It's hopeless. All hope is lost. And Malcolm says,
Macduff, this noble passion, child of integrity, hath from my soul wiped the black
scruples.
reconciled my thoughts to thy good truth and honor.
So he says, your response to what I said has revived me of my evils. It's put back truth and honor in my heart.
So he was just lying about those.
Yes, it was a
trick.
To
like see if he was honest.
Test his
loyalty.
Go ahead.
Devilish Macbeth, by many of these trains, has sought to win me into his power, and modest wisdom plucks me from over credulous haste.
So Macbeth sent some other guys on the same mission as Macduff. That's why Malcolm didn't trust him.
Bring him back.
Yep, to trick him to come home so Macbeth could kill him.
By God above, deal between thee and me. For even now I put myself to thy direction, and unspeak mine own detraction. Here abjure the taints and blames I laid upon myself for strangers to my nature.
And then he says, I'm a virgin, I am not greedy, and I won't take over the world. So go all the way to the bottom to now will together.
Now will together, and the chances of goodness be like our warranted quarrel. Why are you silent?
So he gives him this whole speech and says, I'm really a good person, and Macduff is just standing there like mouth open, like, what just happened here? And he says,
such welcome and unwelcome things at once, 'tis hard to reconcile.
Everybody know what's happening? You all fast forwarded with us there? Well, the ones that are paying attention, at least.
What did you say?
He was lying about being a bad person.
Yeah, well, I know that, but like the part that you just skipped. What did you
That
say
was
the
that part.
overview of that was?
He just says, I'm a virgin, I'm not greedy, and I will not take over the world. Yes. Okay? And then this doctor guy comes in and says that the King of England, Edward, he is known for having like a healing touch, and he just got done curing some people, so he'll be here soon. Okay, so that's all what happens between all the way to when Ross enters. Who's Ross? Okay, come on in.
This doctor pretty much says nothing. What does he
Pretty
say?
much says nothing, yes. He tells us, he gives us this little background information that the King of England, his name is Edward.
Yeah.
He has like the touch of a prophet, like he can heal people. And Malcolm has seen him do it, so he just tells Macduff, yep, I've seen it happen. It's crazy. Okay, go ahead.
What's the disease he means?
No, go all the way down to see who comes here.
Oh. See who comes here.
My countryman, but yet I know him not.
My ever gentle cousin, welcome hither.
I know him now. Good God, be times removed the means that makes us strangers.
Sir, amen.
Stand Scotland where it did.
Alas, poor country, almost afraid to know itself. It cannot be called our mother, but our grave, where nothing but who knows nothing as once seemed to smile, where sighs and groans and shrieks that rent the air are made, not marked, where violent sorrow seems a modern ecstasy.
Mm-hmm.
The dead man's
No.
knell is there scarce asked for who, and good men's lives expire before the flowers in their caps, dying or ere they sicken.
So things in Scotland are
Bad.
bad, worse than ever.
Oh, relation too nice and yet too true.
What's the newest grief?
That of an hour's age doth hiss the speaker. Each minute teems a new one.
Meaning every minute another person is murdered. So what is Ross, what do we know? What's he probably come here to tell?
That his family has been killed.
That Macduff's family's been killed, but he hasn't actually said it yet. So there's a little dramatic irony happening here because we know, but the guys on stage, only one of them knows. Okay, go ahead.
And Ross is the one who knows?
Yep.
How does my wife?
Why, well.
which is a
Lie.
lie. Yeah.
And all my children?
Well, too.
Also a lie.
The tyrant has not battered at their peace.
No, they were well at peace when I did leave them.
Be not a niggard for your speech. How goes it?
So Macduff can tell that Ross is not being honest. Go ahead.
When I came hither to transport the tidings, which I have heavenly borne, there ran a rumor of many worthy fellows that were out, which was to my belief witnessed the rather, for I saw the tyrant's power afoot. Now is the time of help. Your eye in Scotland would create soldiers, make our women fight to doff their desired distresses.
Be it their comfort, we are coming thither. Gracious England hath lent us good steward and 10,000 men, an older and better soldier none than Christendom gives out.
What I could answer this comfort with the like, but I have words that would be howled out in the desert air, where hearing should not latch them.
Okay, so Ross, when Macduff says, just give it to us straight, Ross says, I can't because I need some information from you first. And the information is, are you coming to help us? And Macduff and Malcolm say,
Yeah.
yes. The King of England has promised us 10,000 men led by the best captain the world has ever known, named Seward. And so then Ross says, oh, thank God, now I can tell you the truth. Okay, go ahead, Macduff.
What concern they, the general cause, or is it a fee grief, due to some single breast?
No mind that's honest, but in share some love, though the main part pertains to you alone.
So Macduff says, is it something bad for everyone or just for one person? Ross says, well, everybody will be sad, but it mostly relates to you.
If it be mine, keep it not from me. Quickly, let me have it.
Let not your ears despise my tongue forever, which shall possess them with the heaviest sound that ever yet they heard.
I guess at it.
Your castle is surprised, your wife and babe savagely slaughtered. To relate the manner were on the quarry of these murdered dear to add the death of you.
Merciful heaven, what man near pull your hat upon your brows, give sorrow words, the grief that does not speak, whispers the overfraught heart and bids it break.
So Macduff is like having a little moment, as you might expect, and Malcolm tries to calm him down. Macduff says,
My children too,
Wife, children, servants, all that could be found.
and I must be from thence. My wife killed too.
I have said.
Be comforted, let's make us medicines of your great revenge to cure this deadly grief.
so Malcolm's advice is,
Use it to fuel your hate fire.
yep, go ahead.
He has no children. All my pretty ones? Did you say all? Oh, hellkite. All? What all my pretty chickens in their dam at one fell swoop?
Dispute it like a man.
So he says, dispute it like a man means you need to go through the grief process, but also
Be strong.
we got to get going here. Okay, go ahead.
I shall do so, but I must also feel it as a man. I cannot but remember such things that were most precious to me. Did heaven look on and would not take their part? Sinful Macduff. They were all struck for thee. Not that I am, not for their own demerits, but for mine. Fell slaughter on their souls. Heaven rest them now.
So he knows that they were killed because of him. Yep.
Be this the whetstone of your sword. Let grief convert to anger. Blunt not the heart, enrage it.
No, I could play the women with mine eyes and braggart with my tongue. But gentle heavens cut short all intermission. Front to front, bring thou this fiend of Scotland and myself. Within my sword's length set him. If he escape, heaven forgive him too.
Come, go we to the king. Oh, this tune goes manly. Come, go we to the king. Our power is ready. Our lack is nothing but our lead. Macbeth is ripe for shaking, and the powers above. Put put on their instruments, receive what cheer you may. The night is long that never finds the day.
And they march on Scotland. What is the last thing Macduff says? What is the last thing Macduff says?
Oh, when he gets a hold of Macbeth, he's gonna kill him.
Yeah, and how does that relate to what we read yesterday? How does Macduff's statement relate to what we read yesterday?
Opposite from what his wife said he was doing.
He was running from.
What else happened yesterday at the beginning of the act?
Oh,
The witches.
yeah.
Uh-huh. And what
Something
were
about
they?
the
That
forest.
no child of a woman.
There were three things that came from the witches in regards to Macbeth. Number one, you should have it written
that
down.
said, "Be careful of Macbeth."
Okay, the first one said, "Beware Macduff,"
Sorry.
and the second one said,
He will not be harmed.
No one born of a
Macbeth
woman
is
will
not
harm
able
him.
to get injured.
"No one born of woman can harm him." And now we have this threat from whom? Macduff, who was
Good morning, Sentinel.
named specifically in the witch's prophecy.